Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Tanner and he's selling his Amazon FBA and e-commerce business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Tanner, and how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on and I'm looking forward to talking about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary. It's an Amazon FBA and e-commerce business in the home and kitchenware niches, created in May 2016. The average monthly revenue for the business is $25,348, and it makes an average of $7,119 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48383 to learn more about the business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's look at what's included in the sale. We have an Amazon Seller Central account with 20 SKUs, social media accounts for Instagram and Twitter, packaging design assets, product photo assets, a domain with all the site and content and files, a trademark, an email list with 4,368 contacts with 2,956 subscribers. And it's important to note that inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to active buyers. Okay, Tanner, let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
I can. So I didn't have a background when I started. I actually went to medical school for a while, and I was just absolutely miserable while I was there. And so I ended up dropping out. But I had a friend who was a doctor, and he was in the process of selling a lot of the belongings that he had acquired over the years on eBay. And he kept telling me about how everything that he listed on eBay was selling and how much money he was making doing this. And I thought there had to be a better way. And so around that same time, I think that there was some sort of like how to sell on Amazon influencers that were around and promoting themselves. And I kind of just found that by chance and ended up giving it a go. But originally, the first time I went around and I did it, I kind of failed. But a few years down the road, my buddy, he kept selling all his things on eBay. And so we decided to give it an actual real try. And here we are today.
Oh, wow, that's quite an inspirational story you've got there and quite a shift in life path. And so was e-commerce was your business model of choice just because it was the person you were working with, the type of business model they were using, or were you aware of sort of content sites and other types of online businesses that you can run?
Yeah, we played around with a few other ideas at first. For example, we tried to make like a clone of thisiswhyimbroke.com where you kind of have like the Amazon affiliate and you just like post the cool photos of cool products and then you get the percentage of sale. But we just kept coming back to how much money he was making on eBay just selling all the junk he collected over the years. And selling on eBay isn't really all that different than selling on Amazon, other than, in his case, he had to create every single listing, and then he had to write the description, take the photos. So a lot of his time was spent doing that, which, he did a great job at it. But with Amazon and a brand-based business, it's quite a bit different in that you only have to really do that once, and then it just does itself afterwards.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. So that was when you initially started. But what about this business that you've got for sale today? What was the beginnings of that business like?
It was interesting at first. I thought we were going to become millionaires, overnight. Obviously, that didn't happen. But that's not a bad thing at all. We ended up getting one product just to try it out. We spent a few $1,000s, and then that ended up working. And so we put a larger chunk of money into it, and then that worked. And then we put some more money into it, and it just kept snowballing and snowballing upwards until here we are today.
Was this sort of a side project, or did you put all of your time and effort into this business?
It's a little bit of both. So that's the beauty of Amazon and this sort of business model compared to what my friend was doing originally on eBay, is that once we had everything up and listed on Amazon, our day-to-day management of the business itself is rather small. That's just how we choose to run it because we don't really enjoy looking at spreadsheets and doing sales. So that's where we're at.
Good. So it's been a bit extra source of income for you. That's really good. So the main way it makes money is through selling on Amazon, but what are all the ways that this business makes money for you?
Amazon's a big chunk of it, obviously, and it's also the easiest, but we also have a Shopify store. So we don't really do a whole lot of marketing, but when we do, we occasionally send out an email or do a giveaway or do some social media things occasionally, and that obviously drives sales as well. So that could be a big boost in the future for a potential buyer if they're into that. But we've also gotten to the point where we get a lot of people emailing us and wanting to purchase our products for wholesale for their own retail stores. For example, I just got a big order last night since we just received our latest sea shipment and got all our inventory back in stock. And so I was just in the process of putting that box together this morning for them.
Wow, excellent. Those are some terrific growth opportunities for a potential buyer. I'd like to unpack those more. So you mentioned you've done marketing through email. Could you just tell us a little bit more about what marketing campaigns you've done?
Yes, like I said, we're not really big into the looking at spreadsheets and all that. We also really don't like advertising or marketing, both looking at it personally in our day-to-day lives from other companies or writing it. And so instead of spending a lot of time trying to come up with some clever marketing campaign, we usually just send out a promo code for 30% off, and that usually generates, 25 sales over the course of the next week.
Okay, great. And this retail client reached out to you, they found you. So how much have you sort of invested in providing some products to them? Are you doing test launches, or have you put a lot of your inventory into this as well?
So most of them are actually online. We've tried reaching out to a few different retail outlets, but nobody likes to be, cold called. It's always difficult. And we're not the types to enjoy doing that, so we don't do it. Our potential retail or wholesale outlets, they all contact us. And so they'll reach out and they'll want to know wholesale pricing and how much the minimums and things about that nature are. Most of them don't end up happening or whatever, and we don't pursue them, but you easily could.
Okay, so there we have two fantastic opportunities for a buyer through the retail outlets, and then in terms of the marketing you've done. So if you were to keep this business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
So the reason we're selling it actually is because we've reached the point where we can't continue to snowball the growth forward just to our own lack of money and capital to do so with buying new inventory products and keeping the ones we have in stock. But if we were to keep the business and to keep working it, probably the most return that you could easily get would be through sales. That's if you didn't have the money to get the new products to list on Amazon. If we could do that, I would definitely be adding new products on Amazon first, followed by reaching out to other retail businesses and trying to set up wholesale accounts with them, followed by actually doing marketing on social media and that nature.
Well, yeah, that sounds like some solid growth strategies. So just to take a step back, I understand why you chose this business model, but how come you chose the niche that you operate in?
We chose the niche that we operate in because we thought it was the most opportunistic for us to come in with some radical new user-friendly designs, as well as limiting other big companies that would want to come in and join that niche as well.
Okay, that makes sense. So is there anything you've learned from this business that you would apply to future sites or businesses?
Yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with growing slower. I think we've all heard about on the news or in TV shows about how companies, it's dangerous to grow too quickly. And I think that's definitely true because if you live and die by your cash flow, and if you are keep having to restock inventory and you can't grow further, you can end up trapped, and that's not a good situation to be in. But at the same time, I think the most important thing in starting a business or running a business also is to just actually do it. A lot of people, they think that they don't know enough or that they can't do it because they don't know how. And the most that you'll learn how to run a business or starting a business is actually just doing it, and you'll figure out the problems along the way.
Absolutely. And what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who would purchase this business?
Whatever skills they have, they could easily use themselves, and then they could outsource the skills that they don't have to other people. That's always a good way to go about it. Or they could also learn any skills that they need themselves to an extent. But for the most part, the most work that we do with this business is just simply managing the inventory. So that means receiving it and shipping it out. Other than that, the most work is just when you're coming up with a new product. So that's when you need to get the product photos and write the copy for the listing.
Okay, and sort of see what skills someone would need for this business. And so back to your experiences with the business, was anything that you tried for growth that didn't work for you?
I don't think so. I think just the biggest thing for growing that didn't work for us was just that we didn't enjoy doing certain aspects like spreadsheets and analytics and marketing and that sort of nature.
Okay, and since you do a little marketing for this business, where would you say the majority of your traffic comes from?
That's a good question. We had decided initially that we were going to offer the best customer service possible. So instead of spending our money on advertising, we spend our money taking care of our customers instead as an advertising expense. So, most people, I don't know if or anyone else has messaged a company recently because they've had an issue with their product, but I have to do it occasionally. And every time I do it, I just don't want anything to do with that company anymore because the way that they set up their customer service is designed so that you don't contact them, so that they don't have to take care of you and spend the money to resolve your issues. Us, for example, I got an email last night at 11:30, right before I was going to bed, and this guy said that he wanted to buy half of a product that we sell because his half was damaged, and he wanted to know if it was possible for us to sell him half of it. So I wrote him an email back within like 5 minutes, and I told him that unfortunately we can't do that because we don't sell the product that he wants to purchase as half of a unit. However, his product is covered under warranty, and if he sent me his order number, I would be happy to send him an invoice to ship him out a free replacement.
Wow, that's a really interesting strategy. So do you see a lot of return custom then? Do you have a loyal customer base?
Absolutely. Our customers, they really love the brand, and they love the fact that if they purchase an item and they have any issue with it, whether it breaks now, they receive it broken, it breaks years from now, that we're going to take care of them and they're not going to be stuck regretting their purchase.
Yeah, that's a great way to build a brand, and they'll definitely build a lot of trust in customers and new potential customers when they see the great reviews and stuff like that. So sounds like you've got a pretty solid business here, but what are the biggest risks that you think a buyer should be aware of?
That's a great question, especially considering we just dealing with COVID and the mini trade war earlier this year. The biggest risks are the fact that Amazon is Amazon and they can do as Amazon pleases. For example, in March and April or so, Amazon stopped shipping out items that they deemed non-essential due to the pandemic, which obviously isn't a bad thing to do. That's very wise and beneficial for everybody and, the entire world for them to do that. But on the flip side of that, anybody who sells on Amazon and has a large portion of their income come from Amazon, they don't really have anything else to do about that than wait for Amazon to start shipping out items again.
So is this why you built out the Shopify site as well? So you have another source of monetization?
Yeah, our goal was never really to rely on Amazon, even when we started years ago. I mean, when we were starting and the Amazon seller influencers were all talking about selling on Amazon. Amazon's a great way to accelerate your growth, but I don't think it's completely wise to just completely rely on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always say that variety is key to business success. So definitely seems like you've taken on that philosophy. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Well, business worth buying because we've survived COVID and the trade war, and we survived the summer, which the summer is always slow, and combined with those other two factors, it hasn't been particularly slow, but it's been about average. And so that's not bad. And so now we're back in stock on all of our items. And now that we're going into the holiday season, sales have picked up again. And it'll be very beneficial to any buyer who has the money to invest and can just to wait it out and doesn't want to do a whole lot of work, but wants to get some money back. That's a great option for a buyer. Or if you have a buyer who has the skill set of doing marketing, that's another great option for a buyer for this asset. Since we don't do any marketing, they could really accelerate sales that way. Or any buyer who has sales experience and wants to go out to stores and start setting up wholesale accounts, that's another great option for any potential buyer.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. So you managed to keep your business going well during the pandemic. Why do you think that is? Is it because of the level of customer service you provide, making loyal customers, or is it the type of product you sell, or a mixture of multiple factors?
I think there's a lot of different factors. I think the fact that we're one of the top rated, if not the top rated for the majority of our products that we have on Amazon, I think that helped. I think our Shopify store absolutely helped while Amazon wasn't shipping items out. And then I think people just really like our items and that they're willing to spend on items that are not necessary, but more of a luxury item, if you could say that. So they're willing to spend the money on our items because they want it and need it for their daily life.
Great, yeah, that absolutely makes a lot of sense. So anyway, regarding the sale of the business, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes.
Okay, and how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Yeah, I think the standard's good, but at the same time, we do want the business to be successful, not only for the business's sake, but also for the buyer who purchases it. And so while we're committed to doing the standard 2 phone calls and 30 days of email support, we could absolutely work something out with the buyer if they needed it going forward after that, if that's something that they were interested in and it worked out for both of us.
That's great. I'm sure a buyer would really appreciate that, Tanner. So with regards to negotiations, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
We're always open to receiving offers. I can't say for certain that we would accept it or not. That would have to be something that we would look out and see. But we would definitely rather receive an upfront payment in full if possible. But like I said, we're open to offers.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think you did a good job covering it all.
Appreciate that. I mean, you're the one who's doing the talking and you know your business. So yeah, you've given people great insights into your business, a lot of interesting stuff. So thank you very much for your time, Tanner. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48383. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.